afternoon. Welcome to our professional development. Today we're going to talk about It's Learning. It's Learning is a brand new learning platform that we're going to use here, Spring Branch ISD, and more specifically more here in Memorial High School. So we're going to talk about how we can use this in order to enhance the students' learning and to make our job as teachers and educators easier on us, as well as for the parents to kind of see and track what their students or what their child is doing throughout the school year. Okay. So today's topics, what we're going to be dealing with today is the parent portal and It's Learning and course merging archives. So let's first talk about what It's Learning actually is. So It's Learning is an actual platform of a way for students can get all of their information for all their classes throughout the year, throughout the whole semester. I know there's a lot of great ways that we can that teachers make their classroom accessible outside of the schoolroom. I know a lot of teachers use Google Classroom, they use Weebly's, they use their own personal websites, they use YouTube. There's a lot of different things, and one of the issues that we've ran into in the past is students will get into a classroom and then they may switch out, and just due to a schedule change they may switch out to 6 weeks, and then they've got to go to a brand new system, brand new platform in order for them to get their materials. So let's say they've been working with Google Classroom for 6 weeks, and all of a sudden they move into a different teacher's classroom setting, and they don't use Google Classroom at all. Maybe it's more traditional style, maybe they use their own personal Weebly, personal online account, and then the student's completely lost, and then especially for us as administrators, we get emails all the time flooding us from the parents on where can my son or daughter get the homework, where can they get the notes, how do I know when they have tests or quizzes. I know some teachers they just give them a syllabus at the beginning of the year and that's it. Sometimes that's posted online, there's no central location. So that's what It's Learning is actually going to be doing for us. Okay, it's a learning platform for us, so essentially it's a one-stop shop for the students, the parents, and also the teachers and administrators as well. So today we're going to talk about kind of what the parent sees in It's Learning, some course merger, course archives, how we can make the learning process for the students faster and easier to access throughout the whole school year. Okay, so this is going to be kind of what a general start of the It's Learning page is. Right now we're talking about a professional development, so that's what this slide's here for. But for you, you're going to personalize it to however you want to run your own class. And there's tons of different ways that you can do that in order to make this more blend better into your classroom. I know some teachers, we were talking about it, some teachers use it will just be strictly for notes, where it helps them save paper, where it just said, tell the students the day before, hey, this is where you're going to get your notes for tomorrow. And they can go right on here, they can have it either downloaded on their Chromebooks, or they can have it already printed out, ready to go for the next day. So many teachers will want to use their own kind of exit ticket, entrance ticket, to kind of get the class started, and everything is going in right into right at It's Learning. So this is going to be kind of this is what everyone's going to see when you're on It's Learning. Okay, so let's start to see what this looks like for the parents. Okay, this is the students, they kind of do their own thing. Teachers, they know what's going on, but what we want to focus on is how we can use It's Learning to help communicate better with our parents. Okay, because those are the people who's mostly going to be emailing, especially us as administrators, but also for you as an educator as well. You'll get your occasional email from students, but where we're at right here, the parents are going to be the one doing all the emailing. Okay, they're the ones wondering when the tests and quizzes are. They want to know when, what's for homework, when's it due, they want to know the schedule so they can, you know how our parents are here at Memorial High School. Is they got tutors, they have study sessions. They want to know what's going on. So I'm trying to make this a little easier on not only us as administrators, but for you as teachers as well. Okay, so we're trying to make this as easy as possible. So even if you do have, let's say you have your own Google Classroom, what you can do is you can set that Google Classroom link into It's Learning. Okay, so we'll set that into It's Learning, and then from there, students know they can go to It's Learning, and then from there, that can kind of direct them into whatever direction you want to go. Okay, so let's focus on the parents right now. Okay, so this is what the parents are gonna see. Okay, they're gonna see, whoever the teacher's name is. You're gonna set up your own portfolio, your e-portfolio, where it gives you, you're gonna do your own little biography on yourself, kind of what, your background, what you teach, kind of your philosophy in the different classes you teach. So the parents are gonna see the teacher's name, and it's gonna have all of their children. Okay, so so if a parent has multiple children here at Memorial, then that's where they can click each student individually. So they don't have to worry about if Johnny has one teacher and his teacher does something one way, their other son, Jimmy, he has another teacher that they does it a completely different way. Now this will kind of have a central base of where all the information is. Okay, so from here, this top portion right here, this is going to be the event. So this is what's going to happen in class this week. Okay, so maybe you have your homework set up. I have homework assignments. Let's talk about math class. Maybe you have chapter 4, section 2 due, homework due on Tuesday. We're gonna be color coordinated, and that'll be like your gray. Maybe your homework's gonna be gray. You have an orange link here, or an orange indicator here. Maybe orange is talks about your quizzes. Okay, so let's say you have your homework due on Tuesday. Let's say you have a quiz on Thursday. So they can have this schedule. So now they don't have to worry about, okay, Johnny hasn't told me when his quizzes and tests are. Okay, you know as well as I do, the kids aren't going home and telling their parents every single night when stuff is due, when quizzes and tests are. Okay, so now the parents can kind of eliminate that trying to guess and trying to get something out of the students. And now they can just go right to their page and get the full out schedule. Okay, I can get my quizzes, get my tests.
Would this be separate from the students' login, or will the parents have their own?
So
login?
they'll have their own. They'll each have their own little login. Okay. So the students will have their own Spring Branch login. The parents can set that up, so they kind of see one thing, and then the students will see another thing. The reason that's a great question too, because the parents, they can log in and they can see what's due, when tests and quizzes due, but that's it. Okay. Now for the students, they're gonna have the different login, because from those events, let's say you have an assignment. Let's say you want to do on It's Learning. Okay, so let's say I'll get this a lot for English teachers. Maybe they want you to, you're supposed to go home. You're gonna read a chapter in your book, and they want you to write a little summary, like let's say a page summary. Well, I can log in. I read my book at home, and then I click on the assignment, and then it takes me right into the essay portion that you had set up as a teacher. They can type it and submit it, and now you eliminate kids given the excuse that they forgot their homework, but because they can just do it right there at home and send it to you electronically. You save paper, you save time. Now for you as a teacher, now you have everything in one spot. Okay, because I've been there. I've seen teachers that have all these stacks of papers. They go through, and they just so happens that they lose one or two homework assignments, and now Johnny's got a 0 because he turned in an assignment, but it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. So now this will keep everything in a separate file for you as a teacher. So that's why the parents and the students have different logins. The parents can see what's going on, but they can't click on anything to actually do the assignment. The students will log in, and their page is gonna be very similar to this,
Mhm.
except like I said, now for like the homework assignments, they can click on it, and you know, they can actually do the assignment. Okay, and also the great thing about the events is if you have the app, and the teacher puts in all the quizzes and tests in the app, it will give the parents and or the students notifications, you know, the day before that, hey, you know, your chapter 10 test is tomorrow. Okay, so just kind of a quick reminder. And especially when students are out, when they're sick, you know, I don't know how many times I've seen or had teachers, you know, talk about students will come in, you know, or I'm sorry, they'll miss a couple days of school and they come back and, you know, they're just, you know, they're lost. Okay, so now this gives us a platform to where teachers, again, like I told you, like I mentioned earlier, you know, the teachers can spend time putting the notes into its learning. So if your student does miss, they can go right in here, you know, and you can go through. You know, the parents, they can see, it's like, okay, I know Johnny's sick today. I'm gonna see what's due. Okay, and hope if Johnny doesn't see it, the parents can see it, and you know, the parents can kind of remind them, hey, you've got, you know, you missed these 2 days. Here are the notes. Make sure you print them off. You go through them. At least you have them.
Yeah.
And this way, as a teacher, you don't have to shuffle through trying to find those old notes, try to catch them back up, so they can do that themselves. Okay, so that's the events, the tasks. Again, that's going to be more like your homework assignments. So up here, might say when the homework is due. Down here will be the specific task of what the student needs to complete. Okay, and then again, it's just going to have a little just kind of student information right then and there. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. You can stop me. Okay, and also down here is going to be your course overview. So I know a lot of teachers. I know as a teacher myself, when I did this, I would always, at the beginning of every semester, I would always hand out the first day syllabus. That first day syllabus had everything from expectations of the class, what they need to bring, grade breakdown, the different subjects that we're covering, different topics that we're covering through that semester. That's all going to be right here. Okay, and again, that's going to be very, very beneficial for when, you know, we get students who, you know, schedule changes. Maybe they want to drop from a pre-AP to an academic course. You know, schedule changes, and therefore there's new expectations. Okay, you know, and you know you're already going through halfway through the semester, and that teacher doesn't have time to explain to you, you know, what the different expectations, grade breakdown is. So again, you can very easily see right here on the course overview of what you're going to be doing. So, okay, any other questions?
So one thing, is there a way to message the parent?
Yes, there is a way to message your parents. So, again, obviously email is always great, but sometimes students or parents just want to have a quick little message, or maybe they don't have your email. What they can do is they can go on It's Learning, and if you have your It's Learning up, okay. So what you can do is you see the little chat button right there.
Okay.
Yep. And then from here you can send out messages, maybe, or if a parent messages you about, hey, my son Johnny is not in school today. What is it that he needs to do? And then you can just instantly message them back, and then you know, so it's a really quick little two-way communication. So it kind of gives, you know, the day and age that we're living in right now, it's very social media based. It's, you know, the kids are always on their phone. They have tons of apps, you know, and for us as a school district and as a school, we wanna try to keep up with the times. We wanna try to keep those kids' interest.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of gives us our own little social media feel to how we present material and learning, and to enhance the learning experience, to kind of keep the kids engaged in a way that they're familiar with.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, we use all the students. You know, have the Chromebooks. They have access to computers all the time. It has an app. They're very easily accessible on their phone. So so all that can be done right here on something on this platform. So, and then from there, if you have other situations that you like Google Classroom, you like Weebly, there's a YouTube video. You can just set it up, and then the links, everything will be right there. So. Okay. So again, this is going to be kind of more of a close-up of the different events. Like I said, the great thing about this is this is going to have events for all their classes. Okay, so like I said, this is not just, only their U.S. history teacher is using this. Okay, this is going to be their U.S. history teacher, their English teacher, their Algebra 2 teacher, their business classes. We are all using this. So now you have the tests, you have the events of every test or quiz and the dates for it. Okay, so if you're looking at this particular student, today they had a U.S. history test and an IPC test. And now tomorrow they have a physics test. Okay, and it is a lot. This is a very rigorous school. We demand a lot out of our students, and our students really respond to that. But they are also kids. They're still working on all that time management. These are three very difficult classes for us here at Memorial High School. And so, this gives us the kids an opportunity. Maybe every Sunday they go through and they look, okay, what classes do I have quiz or tests in? And I can make a schedule from here, like a nice study schedule. Again, and it's gonna be very, very helpful for the parents too, because the parents are gonna be the ones that are kind of driving the kids to study for it. So, this is what it's gonna look like through the parents, through the parent portal. So, and again, has the time, what period, and then whether it's a quiz or a test. Okay. So, like I said, parent portal, welcome to student. This is gonna be like the welcome page for the parent portal. Welcome to the student overview page, and it's learning parent portal. Thank you for visiting, being a partner in your students' learning. Okay, so this is just one way we kind of welcome them into and kind of go through all the different resources that a parent can help their student with in guiding, in navigating through its learning. It's got, it shows the parents what the student will see, which again, it's going to be very similar. Like I mentioned earlier, the only difference is the student's going to be a little different in the fact that it's going to be able to click on the different assignments if there's an assignment from that teacher. So you're going to have that. We also have a little video too as well that the parents can kind of see. Little Q&A, frequently asked questions, where just common questions that we have. The parents can click on that. It kind of gives them an overview and it answers any questions that most parents have, and then just how to get the app on their phone, whether iPhone, Android. It's applicable to all sorts of smartphones that the parents can get. Because again, like I said, we're in the cell phone age. All of our kids have them, parents have them, and that's just the quickest, easiest way that we can kind of get that information from as teachers and educators to the students and their parents. So again, it's a great platform that we can do in order to enhance the children's learning, and also keep the parent or the teachers focused on educating those students. Okay, so now they're not dealing with answering parent emails about what's due this week, or my son or daughter promise me they turned in this assignment. Did they do this or not? When's the next quiz or test? So that eliminates a lot of that time-consuming part of being the teacher and administrator, where we just have this one-stop shop and it's all right there. So. Okay, and again, here's a little close-up of what's due, the different tasks. For physics, they had a class info sheet that they had to finish up. They also had like a Python computer programming assignment due as well. We'll have the deadline, like I said, we talked about the math class, Chapter 10, Section 4 homework is due on Tuesday. It's gonna have that date on there. If you miss a date, it's gonna tell you. It's gonna be big red, says overdue. Okay. Like again, we're dealing with high school kids. They forget things. They're involved. We're very fortunate here that the kids are heavily involved in a lot of different activities. They forget things. So this big red thing right here, big red overdue, it's gonna tell you, what's due, when's it overdue, and the parents see that, the students see that, and it's like, okay, so it's a very good reminder of that. Okay, and these don't go away once the teacher puts them in. So once you put them in, it stays there the entire time. Okay. Now, I can get kind of busy because most students here have 6 classes roughly, or 5 to 6 classes, depending if you're a senior or underclassmen. So this can get filled up pretty quickly. So what you can do is you can actually uncheck these boxes here, and you can actually hide them. So once you have it done, it's completed, you have it done, just click on it, hit hide, and that cleans it up for that parents and the students. So, okay. Okay. Again, course overview. It's got all the different syllabuses, what's expected, all the different expectations, the grade breakdown, and it's in all these different courses that's set up for the kids, and it will have like reports that they can see. Again, this tells this page right here goes back to the different courses. It shows if they're if the students turn it in or not turn it in. The red X's means that the student has not turned in that assignment. The green check mark means that they have turned it in. Okay. And so again, this is kind of what we talked about earlier. This page right here. So in this case, like let's say we were talking about math, chapter 7. This has all the plans, but the students the parents can't actually click on it and actually access this. So again, it's just a way that the parents can see what's going on, and if they do need to see it for some reason, that's when they can go to their son or daughter and they can get that information from them. Okay, so that was the parent portal portion. So that's kind of what the parents see. Now we're going to talk about course merging and course archiving. Okay, so I know a lot of teachers. Let's say we have a math teacher. They teach 4 different sections of geometry and maybe 2 sections of algebra 2. Well, in its learning, it's going to have 4 different sections of geometry and 2 different sections of algebra 2. So what we can do is we can actually merge those geometry courses together and merge those algebra 2 courses together. So now that teacher only has 2 pages to work with rather than 6. Okay. So once you have a file, you have your notes, you have your assessments, maybe quick checks, exit tickets, whatever the case may be. Once you put it in this geometry file, that's gonna work for all 4 of their classes. Then you go into your Algebra 2, you're gonna put your assessments, your quick checks, your notes, and put it in your Algebra 2 file instead for those 2 classes. So now you don't have to just do it for Section 1, and then your Section 2, Section 3. Okay, that gets redundant, so we can do at the beginning of the year, we can actually merge these classes together. Okay? And then the course archiving, what that's going to be is once that semester is done, they archive it, so now you won't see that anymore on your It's Learning page. Now you can go back to it and find it, but again, just to clean it up for you as a teacher on your homepage, you're gonna start your new semester too. So.
And you said I will be able to access
Yes,
any of the old stuff.
Yes, you can access. You just won't see it when you first log in. Okay. So again, course merging. The purpose of the course merge maintenance tool is to allow teachers to create one course, so you don't have to maintain multiple courses with the same content. And also create one group of students for each section rather than having them spread into regular ed, special ed, and gifted. So, I know for you, you work, you're our co-teach. So what we can have done is, you have, the co-teach is the blended classroom, your gen ed, your special ed classes. So what the teacher can do, and you can do it as well, is you can have, you're with the U.S. history, you have your U.S. history course, but then, since you have your modified, students who need modifications, what the teacher can do is separate, the gen ed population with the special ed, the special ed group of students, and then therefore you can kind of start putting things in that folder that maybe, that the gen ed stuff that they won't use.
Okay.
So, because I think for you probably have a lot of
different things. I know there was one problem last year that I had, not knowing if I can put stuff in there, and without the gen ed population being able to access that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the great thing about again the course merging is there will be some things where both groups of students need it, but then there's going to be times where you have notes already written for for your special ed students that specifically for them, and they can work through that. And maybe if there's a quick little essay that the teacher wants the whole class to do, but maybe specific students in the special ed that you're a co-teacher for, maybe that topic is altered a little bit. So again, the gen ed students, they can do the full topic, and then for you can kind of play around with it and have it set to what your special ed students are, because you probably have how many students?
It's about 7 students.
About 7 students, yeah. So and so that helps. Again, that just kind of eliminates confusion. You have again, we don't want to point out the students who have the modifications, all that. We're including everybody here. We don't want to make it too obvious where we're giving students certain essays and then we're going off to the side and passing out essays to other students. So what this does is all the students, they go into one page, they know where to go, but now the students who are in special ed, they just click on the button and they have their essay or whatever the assignment may be, and it's specified to them. So and then before they put on It's Learning, and then maybe they click the wrong one, so maybe the gen ed students actually accidentally doing the special ed version, and then vice versa. So that's going to be your course merging. So let's say, for example, you have so you have your environmental sciences with I think your co-teacher, Coach Royce. Okay, so you can go to your plans, and now again, obviously we don't have a class yet, but from here, since he's already got you, so once you guys go in, you can merge the courses, and then you can kind of break them off into different groups.
Okay.
You can just set your plans right here,
Okay.
and then add your topic, and then just kind of explain. Yeah. So. Okay, so let's just talk about what we need to have done. So you just want to follow along on your computer. So the first thing we want to do is always want to merge our courses first. Okay, before you do anything else. If you start putting assignments into maybe section 1, so let's go back to the math classes. Let's say you have 4 sections of geometry. You start putting all your materials in section 1, or into your section 1 It's Learning Geometry folder. You got your assessments, you have your homework, you have your notes, you have everything that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay, now I need to merge everything. So you merge everything. Well, everything that you put in there is gone. Okay, because essentially what you did is you created a brand new class. Okay. So the first thing you need to do before you put anything else in is you need to merge your courses before you begin your semester. Okay. Once you have your students using the course, merging is not recommended. You will lose any student coursework tied to the courses that have been merged. So that's kind of what we talked about as well. Because again, we know we're on a very strict schedule with these students where we don't want to outpace one class versus the other. So we're gonna merge these courses first, and now again, to make it easier for the teacher, for the classroom teacher, they just gotta put in there one time. It's done. It's saved in there for the entire semester, and at the end of the semester, you'll archive, and then we'll again, if you ever need it back, you can get it back. So always merge your courses first. Okay. So again, we talked about course archiving. So course archiving, all first semester courses will be archived after January 12th. So from the beginning of this semester, you won't have anything lost. And once we start the second semester, so January 12th, those are going to be archived. So now you can get to them, but it's not going to be as easy access. So if you do need to move anything, I would highly suggest you move it, early before the semester ends. So activities such as assignments, discussion boards, tests are course specific and will be archived within the old course. So activities can be copied from one course to the other. I would do that prior to the courses being archived. Okay, and again, it's not to make it totally disappear from the teachers. It's supposed to be, the reason we archive it is so it's still saved, but from your view, from your screen, when you log into It's Learning, it's more cleaned up for you. Okay. So, any questions with the merging and the archiving?
No.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give you maybe 5 or so minutes. I'm just going to have you kind of play around with it. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. And then, if we want to create discussions, I'll kind of show you how to do that. So, yes. So go to, so you have your course to do. So go ahead and go to plans. Okay, yep, add topic. And then you can just label it however you need it to be labeled. Air, okay. Okay, so now anything that you put on for air is gonna be there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now from here you can go ahead, you can add plan, and then you can go into whatever the title is. So air lesson, whatever it may be. Yeah, and then for the date, you can actually put all your stuff in there. But let's say, beginning of the school year, being super productive, and you want to put everything in there from the first day of the first semester to the last day of the first semester.
Okay.
But you don't want the students to see it quite yet. Okay, so what you can do is for the date, you can actually preset the date to where it won't be active until that day. So let's say you put everything in, but there's one. Let's say we're talking about this error section that you're doing right now. So you do that, but again, you don't need it until, we'll say, October. So you just type in there for the day. You just put October 1st. So you just go into October 1st, and there's your start day. So as soon as that first day of October happens, it's gonna pop up. You don't have to worry about it because you knew you already have it in there, and it's gonna pop up at that time. Kids aren't working, too far ahead. Then for the stop day, I would just put the end of the semester, or I'm sorry, end of the year.
Okay.
So the students have this access through the entire year. So I know, I've seen some teachers, they put like, let's say they're doing their air, their air section for you, your air section, and they're gonna do 2 weeks of it. So October 1st they start. Let's say October 13th is their test.
Yeah.
So they put the date from 1 to 13. Well, so let's say starting on the 14th, the kids can't see it anymore. Well, towards the end of the semester, when we have our final exams, the kids can't see that. Now, I guess you could go back in there and reset it, but I always highly suggest setting it for the entire year so the students can always go back to that section.
Okay.
Okay, so
So what if I accidentally put stop date to be early? Is there a way that I can go
absolutely.
back?
So let's say you put in for October 13th. Yep. And just hit OK. You're going through. You've got your you put your lesson objectives there, so that's where you put your TEKs, kind of what they're trying to get out of that section.
Okay.
Same with the standards, teacher notes if there's something specific you need to do. The resources, so this is where the resources and activities. So this is where you can put like discussion boards. So if you go to task, that's where you can put like read chapter 4 in your textbook. Okay, and that's what's going to be right there. You get a title, read, and then in the description, read chapter 4 by tomorrow. Okay.
Is there a way that if I did one of this, I guess, resources, like I can put a page for them to look at, so it's like a worksheet or something?
Yeah.
Or,
So if you go to add, if you want to go to your computer, so let's say you have part of the textbook that maybe you scanned it already, and then you have that saved onto your computer. What you can do is you can go hit computer, and then you can just, wherever you saved it as, it's in this file right here, or wherever file it is, and then you can just put it on there. So you can do that. If you hit add again, yep, and it pops up right there. Yep. And if you just want to hit add, let's say you wanted to do an assignment, so maybe there's questions in the book, maybe that's what you want them to do. Again, you can click that, put the questions down, and then from here, again, you can put an actual time frame. So let's say you'll have them do it that day, October 1st, and let's say you want to get that done by October 2nd. So they have until the next day in class. You can set the date and then a time. Okay. Which is also really cool because let's say you have let's say you want to do like a little exit ticket. You're going through the lesson, so let's say you're in environmental sciences with Coach Royce. The last thing he wants to do, just to double check that the students are understand what they're doing in class. He wants to do a little exit ticket, but he wants it done in that class time. Okay, so let's say class gets out at 11:20. So you're just gonna say, all right, I'm gonna give y'all 10 minutes to do this exit ticket. Okay, so the students can get on right away, as long as you or Coach Royce have it set. And again, you can have your own, for the special ed students, maybe they need more time. So maybe on yours, you can put 15 minutes rather than 10 minutes, or whatever the modification is. And as soon as they click in it, they have 10, 15 minutes, and then the timer will start. Okay. So to answer your first question, or did I answer all that questions for that?
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
okay. Alright, so if you go back, so let's say you did accidentally put like October 13th, you know, and you wanted to extend it real easy. It's adjustable all the time, so just click on it again.
Okay.
Yep, so the October 1st should start there, and then just over here at the little calendar, you can extend it and you can put it to wherever you want. Okay? And so, okay, yeah, so right now you have it for May 27th. So the students can actually see that all the way until then. So, and then, again, so, you know, I know a lot of our courses here, they're comprehensive. So what they need in the first semester, you know, they learn this first semester, they're going to need in the second semester. So from here, what you could do, because again, we talked about the archiving. So one thing is you need to do is before you go back, before the semester ends, is you can just move all this into your second semester folder. Okay. So because again, once that first semester finishes, it's gonna lock to where the students cannot have access to it anymore. And then for you to get into it, it's gonna take a little time, a little maneuvering. But just for that semester, you can just copy and paste.
Okay.
You can copy and paste it into another into your second semester folder. Okay, so now the students have what they needed, what they learned in the first semester, you know, and you know, will they touch it in the second semester? Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't, but at least they have it. So now if they ever need to go back, okay.
So with the second semester, I guess second semester class, it won't start until the second semester.
Right.
Or?
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's say the second semester starts on January 4th. So January 4th. It will be active and ready that first day of school. That first day of the second semester.
Okay.
Okay. One other thing I want to kind of mention before we wrap this whole thing up is let's say you're working with your teams. Okay, so let's say, you know, we're in the math department. You know, we have 4 geometry teachers. Well, more times than not, those 4 geometry teachers are going to be on the same exact schedule.
Okay.
Well, rather than each teacher doing an individual It's Learning page, what you can actually do is you can create what's called a sandbox in It's Learning.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sandbox, both those teachers have access to it, but no one else does. So no students can go into that sandbox. So it's not like you can just put everything in this one box and every single geometry teacher or every single geometry student can access that. Okay, so that's just kind of like a little playground for the teachers to use. So let's say you find some material, you put it in the sandbox, I find some material, put in the sandbox, and then from there, what I can do is I can kind of pick and choose what I want. Okay, just because we know the teachers will be teaching the same thing, we know that they're all going to be on the same schedule. However, they're not going to teach it the same way. Or they may not want to use the same exact materials. Okay, so let's say you know we're talking acute, obtuse, and right angles. I really like this idea that one teacher put in, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to copy and paste that into mine so that my students can see it. This one, it's good. I just don't know if I teach it like that, so I'm not going to use that one. But it's in there, because another teacher, you might go through and say, I really like that second item. I'm going to use that, but I don't like that first item. So let's say you and I are teaching geometry. We have all these different lessons, these ideas, these assignments that we want the teachers, or that we can share with our students, but you might like one thing and I like a different thing. Not that one way is better than the other, but the fact that you can kind of pick and choose, and we're still getting the same goal into teaching what the students need to learn, based on our state standards and what they need, here to pass into the grasp the material of geometry. So that's a really great way to kind of, it's kind of an informal meeting with teachers. Like I said, you find something, you find something on the internet, Google it, something you've experienced in the past. You just type it in there. It's in there, and now the students can easily access it.
So you can also share assignments as well in there, in the sandbox as well.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you have this really good assignment that you like. Well, you put it in there. Just say something to teachers. Hey, I put this assignment in there. So if you want to use it, great. If not, then that's fine. And let's say I look through it. Let's say you and I are both on geometry. I look through it. I'm like, I really like that assignment. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy and paste that. It's real easy. Just a matter of 2 clicks. Hit copy, move it over to your folder, hit paste, and it's gonna be right there into whatever unit chapter that you decide to put it in. That the students can access it.
Okay.
And then from there, once you copy and paste it, that's when you'll, as you just did earlier, set the date that you want the students to access it. The end date. Any sort of special notes that you may want to do. Maybe it's just a homework assignment, but let's say I just want you to do the odd problem. So in the notes section on the very right hand corner, you'll just type in odds only. So any other questions?
So, and the sandbox itself, will it I guess ever disappear?
So that will archive as well.
Okay.
So that will archive as well. And then so eventually what you're going to have to do is towards the end of the semester, just copy and paste it into your semester 2 sandbox.
Okay.
There is a overlapping time where both semester 1 and semester 2 are open. So that gives you your time to copy and paste it.
Okay.
So like I said, It's Learning, it's been a great tool. It's been very effective, and I think it's a great way for teachers to use technology in order to engage the students in a different way, rather than just sitting, at a desk, pencil, paper, just kind of their head down, just taking notes. Okay, so this gives them an opportunity to, again, use their phone, something that we know that they know how to do. It gives them an opportunity to, access material outside this classroom. I know a lot of teachers, like in the past, they would have notes, they'd have stuff on the whiteboard, PowerPoint. Well, once students leave the class, they don't have access to that anymore. Well, now they do. Okay, again, because now students can just go, teachers can go put this right into It's Learning. Students have it. Parents can see what's going on, and then they can kind of remind the students, hey, did you get this done? Do you have this? So I just kind of want to give you kind of the general overview, the purpose, the reason of how we can use It's Learning to enhance the students' learning and experience here at Memorial High School. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Hopefully you can use It's Learning in a way that will be effective for you in your classroom. Thank you.